Dear students, hope you all great. Today we're going to talk about chapter 2, motion in one dimension, section 1, displacement and velocity. Let's start. We should know the meaning of velocity and also the meaning of average velocity. What's meant by average velocity? Average velocity is the displacement of an object divided by time interval. So average velocity means displacement of an object divided by time interval. Another meaning of displacement which is mean change in position. Change in position. So if you want to measure average velocity, you should know that change in position, which another meaning displacement, which means displacement, and change in time, which is mean time interval. So if you want to measure average velocity, you should know the displacement and change in time or time interval. Average velocity can be positive or negative sign depending on the sign of displacement. So average velocity can be positive in charge or negative charge depending on what? Depending on change in position or displacement. Depend on displacement. Also displacement may be positive and negative. If the displacement is in negative charge, so the average velocity will be in negative charge. If the displacement in positive charge, so the average velocity will be in positive charge. Negative also. If the displacement in negative charge, the average velocity will be in negative charge. If the displacement is negative charge, average velocity will be in negative charge. But the time interval always be in positive charge. For example, car trip to a friend's house 370 km to west. The negative direction west, which means negative direction, along a straight highway. If you left your house at 10 a.m. and arrived at your friend's house at 3 p.m., your average velocity would be at full. Average velocity, if you if you want to measure average velocity, so average velocity displacement divided by time displacement, which is negative 370. Why negative? Because the direction to west, which is mean negative charge. So negative 370 divided by 5 hours equal negative 74 km per hour, or 74 km per hour west, as west mean negative charge. This is average velocity. So you can write the answer as negative 74 km per hour or 74 km per hour west. Also west mean negative. What is the difference between velocity and speed? Velocity and speed is not the same. So velocity is not the same as the speed. Velocity describes motion with direction and magnitude, while speed describes only magnitude. Magnitude means number. For example, if I said that this car, number 5, move from this point to those point to that point, from this point to that point, at speed or at velocity 16 meter per second to the direction east. this describe what? Describe only velocity. Why? Because I said, or I described the direction. So this is a velocity. So in velocity, when I describe motion with direction and magnitude which is mean and number, which is 60 here, 60 meter, so it's magnitude, so it's only describe velocity. But if I said that this car move from this point to this point at 70 meters per second only, without describe the directions, so this is as speed.
Hello everybody, today I'm answering an email that I got from a young physics student while I'm working on an array of really cool videos that I'm sure you guys are gonna like. So the question is, what is the difference between speed and velocity? That is an interesting and excellent question, because I too at some point thought they were the same thing. Now, as per usual, I'm gonna tell you what the difference is in words, and then I will explain it with an easy example. So basically, the difference between them is that velocity has a direction while speed does not. In physics we call speed a scalar quantity, while velocity is a vector. Now that means that if we take this expression 30 kilometers per hour, just like that, now this is speed, because it says distance over time, so this is by definition speed. As simple as that. But for velocity, now this expression would look something like 30 kilometers per hour in the north direction, or due north. Now let's take a look at a very simple example. If you took your bicycle and you want to go to the park, if you're riding your bicycle at 5 kilometers per hour until you reach the park, then your speed is 5 kilometers per hour. Is the distance that you have covered in the time it took you to cover it. But for velocity, like I said, it has to do with the direction. So for example, if you start from point A and you go with that speed in a circle and then you come back to point A again, the exact same point, then we say your speed here is 5 kilometers per hour, but your velocity here is 0. And the reason it is 0 is because there is no directional gain. You started in the same point and then you came back at the same point again. Even if you were to walk 4 meters this way, 2 meters this way, 4 meters this way, and then 2 meters up here, then your velocity or average velocity is 0 kilometers per hour. The difference between the two is like the difference between distance and displacement basically. If you're not sure about that one, comment below and I will make a very quick video like this about it. Thank you so much guys, just a quickie today while I'm working on different videos that are
Also velocity or average velocity can be described graphically. The motion of an object moving with a constant velocity will provide a straight line graph of position versus time. So average velocity or motion can be described by graph position divided by time. The slope of this graph indicates the average velocity. So the slope of this graph describes average velocity. For example, the object moves 60 meters in the time, 60 meters here, in the time interval between time 0 to time 11. The object moves an additional 160 meters in the time interval, so additional 160 from the 60 to 160, so will be 220 here, 220 meters between time interval 11 to 33. From this data we see that the average velocity for each of these time interval is positive 7.2. How we get this answer? Divide displacement, which is 60, and 220. Displacement 220 minus 60. This is the displacement. 220 minus 60 divided by delta t time interval divided by time interval 33 minus 11. So the answer will be 160 here divided by 22, and the average velocity will be equal positive 7.2. That's it. Thanks for watching.